Chapter. Welcome to the Aging 2.0 Emerging Aging Innovation Ecosystem ALPS Update. Grüezi, bonjour, guten Morgen. So Heidi from the first Hollywood movie would now be over 90 years old. And so what are the initiatives and activities here in the ALP space that would help Heidi now? This is the question today we're gonna discuss. My name is Patrick Hofer. I'm the ambassador of the Aging 2.0 Zurich Chapter, and I'm today accompanied by Daniela Krautzack from the Aging 2.0 Zurich Chapter, Aging 2.0 Vienna Zurich Chapter, and Alexander Grutmann from the Lausanne Chapter. Welcome. I'm really excited to do this event with you together today on Friday the 13th, so nothing can go wrong. So, I just see we also have Stephen Johnson in the call. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, hello, hello. Greetings from Australia.
Australia, hi there. Stephen Johnson is the co-founder of Aging 2.0, so he's the man who made it all possible. Let me quickly... Let me quickly introduce you to Aging, do a little introduction to Aging 2.0. So what is Aging 2.0? Aging 2.0 is an organization headquartered in the US that is helping older adults with innovation. Aging 2.0 is also a mindset and a mission, a new kind of entrepreneurs. So Aging 2.0 entrepreneurs, as we call it, are more opportunity focused. It's not all about health, but also wellness and lifestyle. Aging 2.0 innovators include older adults in the design process and make it available for all. Entrepreneurs from Aging 2.0 are also business driven, and we see a new kind of ventures coming out. We call them zebras, that not only are profit oriented, but also mission driven and impact oriented. That's a little bit the mindset we have here at Aging 2.0. It's about collaboration. It's about exchange of ideas. The mission of the entrepreneurs can be best summarized in the grand challenges you see here, from engagement to purpose, financial wellness, mobility, daily living and lifestyle, caregiving, care coordination, brain health, and end of life. These are the fields the innovators are finding solutions. We are today in a chapters event. Chapters events are all over the world. We have now 127 chapters. Stephen, wow, that's amazing. Maybe can you tell a bit the story of Aging 2.0, how this involved, or what was your motivation to have 127 chapters worldwide now innovating collaboratively?
The very best chapters being Zurich and Lausanne and Vienna, obviously. I say that to every event that I go to. Very quickly, yeah, fantastic. I love seeing what you're doing here, which is building the network from the bottom up. I'm in Melbourne, but I'm from the UK. I was in the States when I started Aging 2 back in 2012. And it's all about, we just a couple of people in the middle. It's a distributed process. I love the way you describe it as a company and a mindset. So it's local ecosystems. We want to help them. We want to help you build up connections, champion the innovators locally, and then help those innovators scale up. And what you're doing here is give them a stepping stone. So not just individual cities, but local regions, in your vicinity, in the Alps, and then Europe, and then the world. So anybody can join a chapter, aging2.com/chapters. It's dead easy to get started. It can be quite hard work to really build a big ecosystem, but the benefits are then you become the hub of your local ecosystem. So if anybody's interested in creating an ecosystem, which is really the future of business, is building up local ecosystems, our job is just to help you succeed and then connect the dots. And then we do that with a collective digital platform, which is now starting to help look at all of the activities that are happening around the world. And super excited to what we're doing and super excited to what you're doing.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. So we have here the agenda for today. It's a really packed program. We almost have 20 speakers. So next up, we have the Zurich chapter presenting the different ecosystem. Then we move over to the Vienna chapter, then the Lausanne chapter, and we just had a last minute addition from Erlangen in south of Germany, Bayern area. Gonna hear a short update. And 11:30 around, we start with the Q&A. So you can ask your questions at the end. If you have questions during the presentation, please also put them in the commenting function in the Zoom. Yeah, and we try to answer them. Right. The recording will be, yeah, please.
One suggestion, which is quite nice with a group like this, if everybody could just say where they're from in the chat, just to kind of throw a little hello from, I'm hello from Melbourne, just to sort of see where people are from, and it's nice to use the chat function.
Yeah, excellent. Also, I would love to add is that as this is all recorded, we decided to do this on a Friday the 13th. So if any technical matter would come in between, we will edit the video afterwards. If anybody got cut out with his presentation or so forth, we will re-edit him back in. Even on top of that, some people would prefer perhaps to talk in another language than English. No problem. Afterwards, we will edit the videos, we will transcribe so that it's understandable for everybody and everything will be translated automatically. Just wanted to pinpoint that.
All right, then I would say we start with the Zurich chapter presentations. We founded the chapter almost 2 years ago. We had over 50 startups coming at our events, at that time physical events. And so we saw a lot of innovators activity. And today we don't want to let startups present, but give an overview of the ecosystem, existing ones we have, but also very new ones that evolved in the last time, that help innovators find partnership opportunities or funding opportunities. To start with, it's a big pleasure to have Benno Seiler in the call here. Benno Seiler ist Altersbeauftragte der Stadt Zürich, Secretary General of Aging in the Health Environment Department. And Zurich just issued their aging strategy that is made also in a truly Aging 2.0 fashion, very collaborative. So please welcome Benno Seiler. The screen is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick, and thanks for having me here in this call. And just to be correct, I'm Secretary General of the Department of Health and Environment. I'm not especially only for the aging, but we have also 2 hospitals in our department, and all the climate strategy is going on also in our department. And I just wanted to start about our organization, to give you a bit the background how we work here in Zurich, because it's not the same in every city, I would say, because here in Zurich we are not only doing the policy, the aging policy in our department, but we are also a big player in the market of elderly care with city-run institutions. So we run in our department around 30 retirement and nursing homes that are city-owned, with around 3,500 people living there. We also oversee a foundation that is city-owned for apartments for the elderly people, with more than 2,000 apartments there. And these are all city institutions. So we're not only doing the politics in aging, but we're also a player, and that has also some implications on our strategy that I will just show you. As Patrick said, we were just finished it. I mean, we just finished the strategy before COVID, and are now lagging a bit in the execution, because also here in Zurich, and especially in our institutions, we have big challenges with the pandemic. It's kind of my first piece in this job, so I started 1.5 years ago here in this department. Before that, I was leading the work on the smart city strategy for the city of Zurich, and was the head of the economic development with the city of Zurich. And then we started this process on our aging strategy. I talk while I try to share my screen. I hope you're able to see it now.
Yes, it works.
This is just one says it all slide, and I wasn't able to prepare a lot of slides in English, but I want to talk first about a bit the process, because we didn't just write this strategy here in our offices of the city administration, but we started a broad participation process to get to the strategy. It was kind of a co-creation of the city strategy for aging. It's called Aging Strategy 2035. We started with a big group participation, where we gave some inputs, but over 200 people participated and discussed our input there, mainly people that work in the sector of elderly care, but also just elderly people or future elderly people, so younger people as well, social institutions, really a broad range of people that discussed the topics and where this strategy could go. With the results of this big group, we entered the online participation, where everybody in the city of Zurich could participate and tell us what they like, how they want to get old, what they need from the city of Zurich to being able to have a fulfilled life also when they get old. And with these results from the online participation, we took into another round of a big group and sharpened there the different chapters, different areas we wanted to tackle. And out of that, we drafted a draft of the strategy, which we then discussed again in a smaller group of experts. And so in the end, the result is what you see here. These are the different levels of the strategy. So we have a vision, mission statement, which is on the next slide, that you can read it then further on by yourself. From that, we derived some guiding principles that go throughout the strategy, and 4 action areas. 4 action areas are the living, support, care as needed. This is kind of the centerpiece, because in that area, all our institutions that we run by ourselves are in this area, and we want to change quite a bit there. Then we have other areas like information and services in the neighborhoods, all the mobility aspects in out and about in the public space, and the whole participation, support, and co-creation. Because the way we worked on the strategy, we also want to follow up in the execution of the strategy. So we want to be open and participatory and co-create a lot of things also with the elderly people. Very important maybe for today is also then on the lower end, the cross-cutting issues that go through all these areas, where financing mechanism is important, because as a city we have to have a strategy that will develop things that are affordable for everyone in the city. Then there is the diversity aspect that is very important for us, and also the new technologies. So I switch shortly back and forth between the two slides. There are only two, so I have to switch back and forth. Then it seemed to be more. This is the mission statement, and where I talk, you can probably also read it. I want to give a short insight on the strategy with respect also of the Aging 2.0 and the startup scene here in Zurich. So maybe all the things with new technologies are quite important also for you. So we have different measures that we want to take within these action areas that involve new technology. First of all, we want to test new technologies that will allow people to live longer in their apartments, to live longer by themselves. Aging in place is a very important aspect in our strategy. We will not expand our nursing homes beds or retirement home beds. In contrary, we will reduce them over time, even though there will be more people over 80 in Zurich in the next years. But we think that more people will stay in their apartments. On the other hand, we want to expand the number of apartments in our foundation of elderly living. And we also want to test new technologies in our institutions. We're just about discussing a POC with a company that has robots that we could use in our institutions. We're also about co-creating with elderly people an online platform with a lot of information. So we made prototype of the platform and then let it test by elderly people, and so develop it further. Very important for us is also that we want to strengthen the digital skills of the elderly people, so that they can profit also from the things that we want to develop. And last but not least, we're kind of planning an age lab. We're not really sure how we want to define it. I mean, the centerpiece will be co-working with startups, with companies in solutions that will help elderly people, and also bring elderly people into the lab and co-creating with them maybe new technologies.
Great, thank you very much, Benno Seiler. We're looking forward to that Age Lab, and as soon as you have more information, please share with us. Yeah. I would like to, maybe you can stop share the screen.
Sure, sorry.
And yeah, thanks again for taking the time here, joining us in that situation. And we would like also to thank you and your team from the health department that fight the pandemic for us. So, many thanks. So let's move right away to the next speaker. We're gonna hear from, let's say, the biggest investor in Switzerland in the aging field. That's InnoSwiss, or the Active Assisted Living Program. And we're going to hear an update on the program and opportunities to collaborate with InnoSwiss. So I would like to give the screen to Larissa Beutler, the National Contact Person, Active Assisted Living. Welcome, Larissa.
Thank you, Patrick. And hello to everybody. So my name is Larissa Beutler, and I work at the Swiss Innovation Agency, InnoSwiss, in the role of the National Contact Person for the AAL European Active and Assisted Living Program. So I thought I will present you three different options, three different funding opportunities from InnoSwiss, which might be of interest for you. And of course, you can contact me afterwards if you have any further questions regarding to InnoSwiss and its funding opportunities, or of course, particularly for AAL. Start and Grow Your Business is a funding instrument which supports people or startups who want to build their own business. InnoSwiss offers individual coaching or startup training modules to build and develop entrepreneurial knowledge. Experienced business coaches can advise and support you while you found and develop your company. So if you intend to found or have already founded a company that has its headquarters in Switzerland, you can apply for so-called vouchers. And the InnoSwiss coaching program is divided in three different stages: the initial coaching, the core coaching, and the scale-up coaching. And those vouchers, they range from 5,000 to 75,000 Swiss francs in value. So the assessment criteria for this coaching is they will look at the degree of the innovation of your business idea measured by the current state of the art and market competitiveness. They will look at the market potential of your business idea, and also of the applicant's potential to implement the business idea. And for those who have already built their company, the criteria is to look at the poor performance to date, and the growth potential will also be taken into account. So you also have the link on this slide, which will directly lead you to this funding opportunity. The second opportunity is a free mentoring support for SMEs or for non-profit organizations. So we have a range of mentors all over Switzerland, and they are very familiar with the Swiss funding scheme and can help you with, for example, facilitating access to technology and research, or they will help you find the right partner for a collaborative project. They can assess your innovation project, a proposal which you would like to submit somewhere. They can also provide support for an application, or they help you revise an application if you have been rejected. And the mentoring and the startup coaching can be done in parallel if you intend to apply for both of those opportunities. If you intend to develop your business and your innovation project at the same time. So the third and probably the most interesting opportunity is the Active and Assisted Living AAL program, which Switzerland is one of the partner countries. AAL is a funding program that aims to create a better quality of life of older people and to strengthen industrial opportunities in the field of healthy aging through research-based technology and innovation. The topic of the 2020 call was healthy aging with the support of digital solutions. It just has closed, but there will be the last AAL call under the framework of Horizon 2020. It will be launched already in December. And therefore, I suggest that you subscribe to the AEL newsletter in order not to miss the good news. And maybe 2 or 3 key points for this program. So AEL builds consortia of at least 3 different member countries. You find the list also on the AEL website. And every country has slightly different eligibility and funding criteria. And each country found its national partners. So on this slide, you see the funding rules for Switzerland. So as you can see, every organization gets 50% funding from InnoSwiss and from the EU. Expect for large companies, they only get 25%. And as the focus in AEL is really on also market integration of a product or a service, research bodies can only participate if they have a business partner in their consortia. So yes, this is very rough about AEL, the most important things, but you can. I really encourage you to contact me in this regard, as the last call will be launched in December. I'm happy to discuss further. And last, this is something InnoSwiss developed just recently. It's a guide which should help you find the right funding opportunity or any open calls in just a few clicks. So feel free to check this out under InnoSwiss.guide. And yeah, then I thank you for having me and for letting me present some opportunities about InnoSwiss, and feel free to contact me.
Many thanks, Larissa Beutler, giving us the insight into InnoSwiss and funding of aging innovation. Thanks a lot. So the AL, this is a traditional, long-standing program. And this year we had also a very new program coming out in Switzerland. And it's the Samsung for Impact Aging Society Accelerator. So a whole new element here in the Swiss ecosystem, or European. And I would like to hand over the screen to Miriam Nufer from Samsung. Hello, Miriam.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll just quickly share my screen. Can you all see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, as Patrick said, Samsung for Impact is an acceleration program for impact startups that tackling the challenge of the aging society in Switzerland. And I want to give you a little bit of an overview of where this program comes from, what is the idea behind, also a bit more about the content of the program and where it's going, where we are heading with it. I think it's important for you to understand that Samsung for Impact is a corporate citizenship program. Corporate citizenship could be best described as a CSR initiative. And we want to give back to society with those programs. This is our vision, that Together for Tomorrow, enabling people, because we believe that that future generations, they can achieve their full potential if they have the right education and helping them to pioneer positive social change. So this is a bit the background where Samsung for Impact is allocated within the Samsung environment. So the goal of the program itself, At Citizenship, we decided that we want to discover and support promising social entrepreneurs, because we are quite convinced that impact entrepreneurs, impact startups are a very important part of the economy. But also they struggle quite a bit when it comes to actually enter the market with their solutions. So with this program, we help early stage tech startups to enter the market. We also want to promote a sustainable impact startup ecosystem. We also try to give them access to the Samsung network, to our partners network, which is not always easy in such a huge corporate, but we try our best. And from a corporate perspective, we also want to contribute to the sustainable development goals with this initiative. The program itself is a European initiative, and we have 4 European pilot countries. And each country is focusing on a different specific issue. And in Switzerland, we decided together with our partners, Scythe and Blue Lion, that we want to address aging society. It was a long discussion, what should we do, and which issue is actually the most pressing issue. And then we said, well, let's try it out with aging society. And I think being here today is also kind of tells us, yeah, it was a good decision, and we kind of hit a nerve with it. If you want to have more information about the program itself, you can go on the webpage. A bit more information about the program itself. We started out in June this year. The program ran from June to early October, and we had 5 startups that joined the accelerator this year. It was a small batch, but I think it's better to start small and then accelerate. We offered the startups tailor-made expert trainings in different areas, for example, social business modeling, go-to-market strategies, regulatory affairs. And the topic of those trainings came about when we analyzed the different needs of the 5 startups that were in the program. We also had individual coaching and mentoring, so each startup was assigned a mentor. They were able to have private sessions with them to address specific challenges, complementary to the expert trainings that we have in the plenum. We also tried really hard to connect them with specific experts to advance their businesses. Additionally to that, we had networking events, for example, with the Innovation Lab at the University Hospital of Zurich, with the iHome Lab, with Day One in Basel. And it was just the idea that they have access and get a picture of what is going on in Switzerland in the aging society field, where should they have access, and what could be potential partners or customers. Also, for those who needed it, we offered office space through our partner Blue Lion. I don't know how many of you know Blue Lion and Scythe. These are 2 organizations, both based in Zurich. Blue Lion is a startup incubator, and they say they are on a mission to help tech startups to get from 0 to 1. Scythe, on the other hand, they offer in specialized training, coaching and development of impact startups and also impact investment. And the combination of those 2 is really important to us, having their different perspectives and actually giving the startups 2 very good partners that can help them to accelerate their business. I thought about how to best describe our intention or where we are going to in the future, and I found this little illustration, and I think it depicts quite well where we are at the moment at Samsung with this program. For us, it's a pilot. It's a journey towards the future. We tried something out, it worked very well, and we think we want to go forward with this. We want to find more startups in the aging society who develop solutions that can benefit us as a society, but individuals. We also see the Accelerator program as one contribution to the aging society. It's a contribution to those who need a particular guidance, to those startups. And it's just another way to add a detail to this aging society map we are all trying to go to and find out what is needed, what we can do. Maybe another example for what Samsung is doing in terms of aging society, we just recently had a project with Oki. Oki is an IT startup that developed a solution, a tailor-made solutions for retirement homes to track for tracking of COVID infections. So basically, they use Samsung watches as a device. So when you enter the retirement home, you are given a Samsung watch, and it's very similar to the COVID app actually. So it tracks your movement within the retirement home. Each person who lives in the retirement home and also the care personnel is wearing a watch. So you can track in a timely manner who you've had contact with. And if somebody gets infected, it's easier to track down who was in contact with that person, and you can actually isolate those people, and you don't have to shut down the whole retirement home. So we hope that this solution will help many retirement homes in the future to go through the next month.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
Many thanks, Miriam, for this great program, and it's great news that you move forward with it. I think it's a missing element that is now here in the ecosystem. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Patrick.
So we run a bit late, and I would like to not to lose time, and will hand over to Frank Kumli. Frank Kumli already presented here about the Aging Well Catalyst project, and we are curious now to hear how this program evolved. Please give us an update. Frank Kumli, Head of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Basel area. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, Patrick, and hello to all. A quick update of where we stand with our Aging Well project. We are part of Basel Area Business and Innovation, so it's the Economic Development and Innovation Promotion Agency for the 3 cantons of northwestern Switzerland, Basel-Stadt, Basel-Land, and Jura. We do many things. We accelerate startups in the field of biotech, in the field of Industry 4.0, and we run a program dedicated to healthcare, which is called Day One. Check out our website at day1.swiss. And in the context of this initiative, we are a little bit obsessed by aging, as all of us are, I guess, on the call, because there is this huge economic opportunity to do things for the aging adult, but there is very little innovation that reaches the market. And we wanted to try to catalyze this here in the region, first by really making the opportunity visible to the ecosystem. We have a great ecosystem here in the region, and we did that by a series of workshops. We are much earlier than most of you on the call, but workshops really to try to bring people together and raise attention on the field of the needs of an aging adult and what are the solutions and services that could be offered to them. We did a workshop on mobility where Patrick joined. We did a great webinar on the future of aging with my friend Zaina Kayat. It's a book I really like, and I think it's a cornerstone in what needs to be done in the field of aging, is this changing of narrative about the aging adult. And we had 2 weeks ago the care transition workshop, and again, thanks Patrick for helping there. And we are looking to do a workshop on nutrition probably early next year. So we like these workshops because that's the picture we try to bring together. I think we know it. I mean, none of the solutions we develop for the aging adult or for healthcare can be provided by a single provider. It will not come from the hospital. It will not come from IBM. It will not come from Novartis. It will come from a collaborative approach between different stakeholders around the aging adult. And this is why it is so hard, we believe, that to do a progress in that field, we need to bring the people together, and that's what we do. This high-speed collaborative workshops, that one was 4 hours, brought about 50 people together, extremely mixed nurses, university professors, representatives from Novartis, patients, other pharma companies, people from Spitex, home care organizations and others, really to try to deep dive in what's important for the aging adult. And then you realize how hard it is, because it's usually at the interfaces that things do not work. Out of this first workshop, we initiated 3 ideas that are hopefully still in development. Patrick asked me to report from the last workshop we did about care transition, and this we did with the University Hospital here in Basel. And of course, we know that, I mean, care transition is hard for any patient, but it's horribly hard for an aging adult, and it's horribly hard for an aging adult, maybe from weaker economic environments. So we look at the care transition pathway from hospital to home for the aging adult in a 3-hour online workshop with about 20 representatives from all the stakeholders involved here in the region around care transition. We looked at 4 patient categories: wound treatment, frailty and morbidity, psychiatric patients, and also oncology, because we had some pharma representatives in the room. And out of this workshop, just identified the 3 biggest challenges we saw at hospital discharge: the flow of information that never works. Once the patient is outside, cannot relate to what has been said in the hospital, doesn't understand, the families are often not informed. So the flow of information is a very big challenge for the aging adult. Cost of care and reimbursement extremely fragmented. And this is what causes the fragmentation, is often this fragmentation in reimbursement. And finally, the need to engage not only the patient, but also the relatives around the patients, especially in the field of the aging adult. And for all of these challenges, we developed 2 solutions. We like to do it: a long-term one where we kind of reinvent the world, but we know these ones are very hard to implement, and then different short-term solutions. If you come from different countries, you would be surprised that still in Switzerland, you do not get the documentation from the doctor per default. You have to require it. And can we do this in our cantons on a way to have a central access to information? It's still very difficult to understand the reimbursement pathways throughout the life of a patient. Can we do a fee-for-service bundle for some patients from inside of this hospital and outside? Can we test this in our region? That was a short-term solution. And of course, the awareness of the engagement of the relatives and the patients. Can we do something to have an advanced care planning before the people enter and leave the hospital? So these were the kind of the solutions developed so they get a flair. So now 3 groups are working on this in parallel. And Patrick asked me to give you some well, maybe feedback from what we heard in the workshop. And I think we all agreed, I mean, there are dramatic needs of the elderly and the patients and their families when they are leaving the hospital. It's a very, very big need to be addressed. We also saw, and this is always great in these workshops, we all live in the same city, in the same region. Nobody knows what the others are doing. The hospital people are surprised that home care offers this. Home care is surprised that an insurance has these type of packages. So there is a lot to learn. There are very deep silos, even in small regions. But what we saw, there are great things. So we had startups in the room. There are great things that are happening in all cantons, in all cities, but it's always in cantons and cities. And the scaling of these initiatives is very difficult. And finally, we saw a huge motivation in this room to see people to keep on developing things together. And I think we all agreed in this workshop that it needs to be about incremental impact. We will not change the healthcare system in Switzerland, but we need to have very small but impactful and incremental solutions that can be scaled. That was what I wanted to report. It's much more tactical than what others said, but it's really just about bringing people together here to catalyze innovation in the region. Thank you, Patrick, for the opportunity to present.
Many thanks to you, Frank. I think the approach you're doing in Basel is really a best practice. So just we had big pharma at the table, we had startups at the table, and we had non-profit organization, cantons, doctors, hospitals. So I think this is how innovation goes and build trust among each other. Many thanks, Frank Kumli, Basel area. This was the update of the Zurich chapter, give you a little bit an input on the ecosystems that are emerging here. There is much more activity going on, and I will put it in the chat, just some links, what's going on in a minute. And with that, I would close here the Zurich chapter contribution.